Hello and welcome to our guest segment of the Breakfast Connect on Africa Business Radio. I am Chukunonso Modi. Now, money management budgeting is about meeting expenses, setting aside money for emergencies and saving. But most times it is easier said than done. Sticking to a budget can be challenging for parents. Money doesn't always go as far as you hope. Unexpected needs arise, and who isn't prone to the occasional impulse buy? Even for new parents, bringing a baby home is certainly a thing of joy, but dealing with the financial situation is another drama altogether. While a baby brings joy and spontaneity, dealing with your family's budget can bring major challenges. Joining me to talk on parenting on budget is Ms. Ronke Adeniyi, a parenting practitioner and certified female family therapist. Ronke Adeniyi, fondly called RonkePosh, is a fun-loving, energetic and enthusiastic lady, a lover of God, a wife and mom. She holds a BSc in Biochemistry from the Queen Mary University of London and a master's degree in Business Administration from the University of Hull in the United Kingdom. RonkePosh also is a certified and experienced Montessori directress. She received her training from the Modern Montessori Institute in London and holds a postgraduate diploma in education. RonkePosh has vast experience in the banking, education and children's entertainment sectors. She is a serial education entrepreneur who loves to empower and motivate the young and old to greater heights. She owns the best preschool and primary school in Ikoyi, Lagos, Nigeria, called Posh School. RonkePosh also runs a children's entertainment company called Posh Party Packs. RonkePosh is the founder of the Helps at Homes initiative, which focuses on parenting in the 21st century and the proper recruitment of domestic workers in homes in order to prevent risk to families. She is passionate about the subject as a result of being a victim herself after she relocated to Nigeria from the United Kingdom. RonkePosh has a keen interest in protecting children who are often the victims of dangerous domestic workers. She is also a parenting practitioner, a certified family life therapist, and practitioner of neuro-linguistics program. She uses these to coach and support parents in her parenting Facebook community called Parent Right. She runs training courses online and offline, and she is also a public speaker. She has been featured in many platforms such as NTA, TVC, Guardian newspaper, Nation newspaper, and several blogs. She's also the author of the best-selling book for kids, Right Kid 101, and the newly published book, 101 Tips to Curb the Beating and Shouting. Welcome, Ronke, or should I say RonkePosh? It's a delight to have you here.
Thank you very much. Good morning. RonkePosh is fine.
All right, thank you. So our topic of discussion is parenting on budget. Now, while some parents believe that, some parents would say, yes, you can do it on budget. Others will say, no, you cannot. What's your take on this?
Well, what are we calling a budget exactly is what we need to define.
Okay.
Are we saying low-cost parenting, or are we talking about high-ticket parenting where you have to send your children abroad and they must have iPads in their party bags? What are we talking about when we talk about budgeting?
Right.
We have to be specific. I believe that irrespective of your income stream, you should be able to give your children the basics, which include food, clothing, shelter, and quality education.
All right. Okay. Since you've classified it like that, let's talk giving your children the basics now, because, like you said, not everybody can do the whole extra of sending abroad and the rest. So now, when we talk about basics, would you say parenting is expensive? Is there pressure on parents?
Well, parenting is expensive because it's not only financial. Parenting is not just for you to give off your money. It's also to give of your time, of your emotions, of your spirit, soul and body, everything. So it is expensive if you have to devote that time to a child. And if you have to give it to more than one child, you have even much more to give. So I would call it an expensive ordeal. So people really need to think carefully before they embark on it.
All right, okay. So as a parent, why is it important for you to budget? Because now it's not just about you now. You have children, or let's say a child. So what is the importance exactly?
Well, it's important because you need to prioritize the welfare of your child. Because, as I often say, these children they didn't ask to be born.
Yeah.
So you've brought them here. So it's quite important that you care for them better than you were even cared for. You should seek to give your children better. And when I talk about better, I'm not talking about luxuries. I want to be very careful there. But those basic things are what you owe the children that you have.
Okay. Most parents are all about the finance. Let me not say most, but some parents are all about finance. They don't talk about emotional budget like you just spoke about. What would you say causes this? They all believe that, okay, at least they're going to the best schools, they have everything they want, so I don't think they lack any other thing.
I'm not clear about the question, sorry.
Okay, for parents that believe more in financial budget than, or rather invest more in financial budget than emotional budget, what would you say is the cause? Why do they act that way?
Well, they probably act that way because that's what they know, or maybe that's how they were raised, or perhaps they came from a place of lack, and there might be some insecurities or fear and they need to fill that gap. So they might be compensating for something and then overdoing it with their parenting, because there is something called overparenting.
Overparenting. Oh, okay. So why is it important, or rather share with us tips on how parents can budget, how they can do without going overboard when it comes to their finances?
Well, there's a principle that I teach to people, and I always say to people that when you want to have a child, you should first of all focus on yourself. Make sure that you are a stable individual, you're well balanced, well rounded, and you are secure in yourself. So that's a focus on yourself. And then you focus on your environment. What are your support systems? What are those things that you need in the environment to support your parenting before you think about your child? Now, if you're able to get a good environment and you're a secure human being, then you are able to give to your child what your child needs. You won't go overboard. You would provide within your own means. You don't feel pressure to do what other people are doing. When you see things on Instagram or social media, you feel the need to do it, mom and me, daddy and I, the matching dress, the matching clothes, the matching cars. That pressure is not going to be there because you're a secure human being. There are people that actually have the funds to do this, but they want to teach their children what modesty is. So it's not about being braggadocious and how much do you have or what do my children have. But what is more important in parenting, quality values that you imbibe in your children. Are your children actually very respectful? And when I talk about respect, I'm not talking about the cultural thing that we do in Nigeria where you have to kneel down and greet. That's not necessarily respect. But respect of others, respect of environment, of the law, of people around you, of property, children with integrity, children that would do the right thing even when you're not there, children that are happy. What are your values? You might have religious values in your home. Whatever the religion may be, you might have values of excellence or leadership. There's so many that are important to you. Those are the things that you will focus on. Your values could even be quality education. It could include that. Those are the things you focus on over and beyond the cosmetic.
All right. That's true, because most parents see social media. There's a lot of pressure. Okay, I must be like this, I must do this, I must do that to suit others, and then you're forgetting that yourself too, you need to put down budget. Okay, with this kind of topic, we can't talk about finance without talking about the economy, without talking about the government. What role can the government play in helping parents to budget?
Well, the role of parenting is not supposed to be solely for the parents in reality. The government should play a part in education, in security, infrastructure, medical care. All those things would really take a lot of weight off parenting. Nigeria and many developing countries happen to be those that don't have the support of the government the way that they should. Now, we haven't had the support of the government for many years. It's not breaking news. So people need to be intentional about parenting. They need to be intentional about having children. Stop the excitement of having 3 kids, 4 kids, or I'm looking for a boy or a girl, or I can't have only one child, or, we need to start waking up and we need to smell the coffee and realize that it is expensive to raise children, to give them the quality education, the quality care, even your time, because you hear parents saying, oh, I'm hustling for the children. Now, you might be hustling and doing all those things for your children and leave them at home with a domestic worker that will abuse them and mess them up. And once that child is abused, you might not be able to fix that abuse forever.
Yeah, that's very true. This brings me to your initiative as founder of the Helps Homes. Now, what brought about this initiative, and how has it been so far? How's the journey been?
Okay, so I started in 2012, and this was, I moved to Nigeria August 2011, and we set up the school February 2012. Under 2 months, on April Fool's Day, 1st April 2012, we had an armed robbery, and they broke into the house. My husband and I were in bed, and they pretty much took everything over just in one night. They were there from about 3 a.m. till the early hours of the morning when, the sunrise was there. Everything was cleared out. We moved from our home to the school and everything was cleared out. So at that time, I had to do a lot of reflection. I was living in fear and I wasn't able to sleep for up to a year. I wasn't able to sleep. So I started writing It was some kind of therapy for me. And as I shared on social media, people started to share their own experiences. They told, because the person that set up the armed robbery was actually someone we had hired, but it wasn't a strange one. He had been around for about 5 years. So it wasn't like it was just somebody random off the streets. He had been there even before we moved to Nigeria working with the family. So, but he was part of a criminal gang. So I started talking about domestic workers. How do people actually hire them? What background checks do you do? I started to give tips about how to actually check, what you should check for, creating videos, getting as much information about their background and things like that. And so a lot of people found it very relatable. They shared their own personal stories of armed robbery, of abuse, of rape. It just grew. People were just sharing. So I started to put it on websites, and it just grew from there. And I started to do training of domestic workers and that's pretty much what led me into parenting full-time that I do today.
All right, that's interesting. So this experience moved you to being a parenting practitioner and certified family life therapist.
It was part of it.
Okay, all right. Okay, would you say the children to have a role to play when it comes to budget? Because we see these days that children are mostly influenced. You can go to school now and this person has this and you want it by all means. And the parents, in trying not to disappoint their children, would go overboard with their spending.
Again, it's a value system challenge. Now, how are you raising your children? Are you just raising them to be content children? Or you're raising them to want what other people have? Now, you can't give what you don't have. If you're one of those parents that parents are going to certain schools that are expensive, you can't afford it, but you put your children there and you're sweating, you go there, you will feel the need to keep up because you want your children to look like the children of all the others. You're the one putting yourself under pressure. The children learn more from what they see. They learn from your insecurities as a parent and they emulate it and they do it even much more. So I often don't blame children when they misbehave. It's often a problem that is stemming from the family. A child does not have to have something. So I still had a conversation with a parent at our school, RonkePosh, just here, and I told them, and there was a party yesterday, a birthday party, and the party bags came around, but it was for a particular class, and another child wanted a party bag. So when the mom came, she said, and I had some spares at home I would have. I said, no, it was for that class. That child needs to learn to know that you're not in that class. If you're in that class, you're entitled to one. So whether there are spares or not, you must learn contentment. You must learn to wait your own turn. And these are the simple things that children need to learn. Parents need to teach their children. However, I will keep saying it, parents can't teach their children if they themselves are insecure. They must have the latest human hair or the latest Range Rover, or they must do what someone is doing on social media. They must copy. They must slay. They must pepper them. They must do all that. So those are signs of insecurity, whether we like it or not, whether we see it or admit it or not. When you're looking at somebody else and doing stuff, you are an insecure person. You really need to be competing with yourself on a daily basis, striving to be a better version of yourself, not somebody else.
Perfect advice. Now, lastly, you are so many amazing things in one. How do you juggle it all? Family practitioner, you own a school. How is it? You are a mom too, as well. How is it?
Well, I get asked that question, and now go do. I get asked that question. I guess because I'm in my own space, I am doing what I enjoy. I do what comes to me effortlessly. It's not a struggle for me to get up and go to the school and be with the children or train teachers or talk about domestic work or be here. I mean, I didn't lose any sleep when you called me to come. I was excited. It's what I want to do. It's the change. I mean, I moved to Nigeria because I wanted to contribute my quota. I didn't want to sit in diaspora and say, oh, this country is this country. Let me know that I've tried my own. I've contributed my own quota. So doing that for me, every day I find new avenues, new opportunities, and I just do it. And another thing is I don't have too many children. I don't have what I cannot manage. I'm not under pressure to have 5 children, 4 children, or whatever the case may be. I mean, people can make their own choices and have whatever, but whatever you choose, you must make time for it. So I have my one beautiful girl, and I'm very, very content. I don't come from a background where I must have a boy or a girl child is not good enough. Mine knows she's the best. I would have her over 10 boys and 10 girls. So I tell her all the time, she's more than enough. I tell people the reason why they don't feel the girl child is enough is because they don't have enough female role models around them. If you have a Michelle Obama or Oprah Winfrey as your child, would you say you don't have a child?
No,
you know. So when you empower your child and build your child, at her school right now, she's the head girl of the school, and it's a very, very prestigious school. You know, we work towards it. So I see the greatness already. When we do that, then we know that it is enough. And those fears that we have, oh, one child, what if one dies? No, what if all die? You know, there are people that have lost all their children. It's God that looks after our children. So those are the insecurities I talk about, because it's insecurity that causes us to do many things. When are you having the next baby? When are you having, and a lot of women are frustrated. I talk to women all the time. They're stressed out. A lot of them are fully dependent on husbands that give them meager allowances. And they have PhDs, they have certifications, but they're stuck at home. They're lying on social media and saying, oh, I live for my kids. And I call them, oh, I live for my kids gang. Keep lying to yourself. Every woman has got a purpose. Yes, there's a time when we must stop and look after our children. I did that for 6 months. There's a time when we must stop and look after our children. However, you must be that Proverbs 31 woman that was very entrepreneurial, that was doing her own thing. You know, these days you can even work from home. You don't have to leave your home to go anywhere before you can you just need digital skills. You need great communication skills. You can learn so many things at home and also look after your children, do the school run and all those sort of things. You are more than enough, woman. I know it's not a woman thing, but I'm so passionate about women, so I believe I should drop that. You are more than enough as a woman, and you must contribute your quota. Don't just sit at home and be abused and just sit on one man that will take a narcissist that will take advantage of you, because that's the problem we have now. A lot of marriages are crumbling, and if you look at it, women want to escape, but they can't, because there's no money to look after 4 kids. If you run away, you can't run away. But a lot of people know, and they still put their head on inside these sort of things. You know, even on social media, they're advocating, they're telling people, I mean, what's this song? Somebody's son will marry me. Somebody's son. Why would I want my son to marry you and be looking after you? Your own parents not train you. You know, why would somebody's son come and suffer and it's you they want to look after? What do you have to contribute? Only babies. You know what I'm saying? You are more than enough as a woman. You should be able to contribute significantly more. If only the women are empowered and they know how much power that they carry and how much respect that they will get in their homes when they're contributing to the family, how much they can change the world as women, then they will sit up and do significantly more. Life is not about babies. Someone will come now and say, oh, the Bible says we should be fruitful and multiply. And I will tell you, fruitful and multiplication is not about having babies. Fruitful and multiply in every aspect of your life that God has blessed you with. Spirit, soul, and body. Even if it's your workplace, you must be fruitful and you must multiply. Whatever God gives you, you must multiply it. If they give you a job to do it 10 times as much. Let your light shine. Let people see it and glorify your Father in heaven. If it's about children alone, how about people that cannot have children? Are they saying that doesn't apply to them? It does. So we must multiply in whatever it is that we are given. That's what we ought to do, and not just have babies that we can't care for. In fact, it should be a criminal offense. It's an abuse to have children and you can't care for, not because you don't have the money, but you can't make the time. You're constantly on social media. Some people will tell you, oh, but I'm at home, I'm a what do you call it, SATM at home mom. Yeah, SATM mom. But you're a stay-at-home mom. I don't mind you being a stay. That's not my business. But be available to your children. The school should not call you up and say you haven't picked your children, and yet you're a stay-at-home mom, painting your nails somewhere, or just getting lost on social media, and you're a stay-at-home mom. Make yourself attractive. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, you can monetize skills at home. So one is say, oh, they're shutting down stay-at-home moms. I'd rather sacrifice this for my children. Yeah, do it, but do it glamorously.
Yeah.
Let us admire you as a stay. The reason why a lot of them feel insecure is because they don't do it well. If I tell people that I'm a stay-at-home mom, nobody's going to believe me. But I am, to a large extent, a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to explain on the media, but I work at all these things. Most of these things that you've read, I hardly leave my house.
Just at home.
Wow. So, it would be too much to be revealing now. But I don't call myself a stay-at-home mom. I don't find it attractive anyway. I don't like it. It makes me look as if I'm just staying at home looking after children, which is not a crime either. Yeah. It's not a crime. It's how do you do it? How well do you do it? Let them see you at the school gate and know that the mom arrived, Not that the one a floppy looking mama just entered, enter the, no. Make it look good.
Yes.
Make it look good.
Yes, thank you so much. This is girl power, if I want to say. All right, thank you for an amazing conversation, RonkePosh.
No problem, thank you.
All right, that was Mrs. Ronke Adeniyi, a parenting practitioner and certified family therapist. And that's it on our guest segment right here on The Breakfast Show. We'll be back with more. Stay here.